Tables are when we don't know the exact structure to create our target tables. Then best way is to go ahead with a template table. Sometimes we might get 5 columns, we might get 10 columns, or we don't know exact what data type that we need to put in unless we actually build any data flow. Okay, in that case, it's better to leverage stage tables by using temporary tables, template tables, right? So now we have created a temporary table and we made that as a permanent table. Now come back to the functions, click on database functions, select key generation, say next, select the input table under DS staging. Now you would find the table here. Look at this. Okay. Now which column that we wanted to generate a key? First, customer S key. What's the number to increment key? Say 1. The incrementation value will be 1 and say finish. See here, key generation is actually looking for data store name for the table which is where the table is residing. Okay, DS staging is the data store name and the table name is STG customer key. And the column value is column name is customer key, and the incrementation value is 1.
So what is the
if you are expert, if you become an expert, you really don't have to browse all these things. Say key underscore gen, the function will be popped up here. Okay, you need to put the input key name, column name, and the values. That's it. You could do either way.
So what would be the max value?
I'll show you that one now. Now for the first time, right, now we have 5 records. The max would be 5. So it starts generating from 6 onwards. What I'll do, I'll just try to add some values in customer ID. If customer ID has become a primary key, so if we see the same values, it throws an unique constraint error, right?
No, sir. My question is like, what is the max key generation value?
Oh, you mean to say that the final maximum value that it could generate?
Yeah.
No, there is no limitation like that.
Infinite? I mean, like we didn't provide
infinite. There is no limitation like that.
Oh, okay.
It's an integer value, right? It can take up the maximum what the integer can provide.
Oh, okay.
Right? Integer is a 4-byte thing. How much it can accommodate up to 4 bytes, it can generate. But as such, there is no limitation. This is only the maximum value that it can generate. No, there is no. It can generate up to 20 digits. Absolutely no problem for that.
Because I'm not sure like what is the data type of that Runa. So that's the reason why
integer. It's integer. It has to be integer.
Oh. Okay.
It has to be integer. That's another limitation. So sometimes what happens is in some cases, some people want to use the combination of character and a number, which is an alphanumeric. So it doesn't take in that sense.
Okay.
I just wanted to tweak in here, guys. Customer ID is supposed to be unique value, so I'm just tweaking it with probably. Guys, I just tweaked the customer ID because it's supposed to be unique column, right? It's a primary key column. In target, I can't change the target definition. I do not want to change the target definition. I have to go to the database and change the definition. So I just tweaked that. and run the flow. Actually, I'm supposed to run this with a retail case study. No worries, tomorrow we'll run with a retail case study. Okay, it has generated. Let's see. Let's look at this. So now, if you look at the customer key here, okay, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Look at this. So I'll click on this data set as well. Target data set. What happened to view data here? Guys, looks like there is a bug in here. You know, just before now, we couldn't able to see the data viewer. Now I could able to see this. So look at the 10 records. Now the key is generated from 6 to 10. This is key generation function, and we have the same function in a form of transformation called key generation under data integrated transformation. Okay, both of these are one and the same. So the function is a very flexible, where we could use anywhere in any other transformation. When I say any other transformation, mostly in the custom functions and in query components. Any questions on this?
Yeah, I had one. So when you turn the temporary table into a permanent one, so it is still a staging table as such, right? The memory in-memory table has been turned into a physical staging table in your schema right now.
Right.
In database level?
So what was the question actually?
Yeah, my question was that, like, when you made the import table option, it did really create a physical DDL for the staging table in the table schema there. So right now it is no more a temp table, right? So,
Absolutely. No more a temporary table. It executes the temporary table and makes it a permanent table in the database.
In the database or in the data service?
In the database as well.
In the database.
The data stored as well. It moves this temporary table definition to your permanent table definition.
Okay. Can we see the table in the data store table? The table.
Here you go. I have opened as well. So these are all the temporary tables which are listed.
Okay.
And when you made permanent, when you make this as a permanent, so this has become a permanent in your tables list.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good.
See, the definition will be executed in both the ends, but the definition will already been executed at the database end when it was in a temporary table. So when you run the job, okay, the definition will get executed exactly when the job was run. So the table will be created manually, automatically with a template definition. Now, when you import it as a permanent table, that means that particular definition will get converted as a temporary permanent table in your data services window.
And the reason you had to do this was to generate a key, or you have to have a physical table as such, so that your key generation is input into that physical table column, right?
Sorry, Moti, I really didn't get exactly what you're saying. It's
I mean,
very low voice.
Right, and the reason you really wanted to do that was because you were trying to use keygen function, which obviously is generating values sequentially here. You wanted to insert that into a specific column of a physical table, right? Is that the reason?
Absolutely. That was the main reason. See, whenever you want to use key generation functions or lookup functions, guys, here we have 3 different lookup functions. So these are all different functions, not transformations. So these functions, if you want to leverage or you want to look up some value into some table, a temporary table cannot exist in that sense. So it has to become a permanent table. Then only a data services can go ahead into the table and look the value. Otherwise, what we could do is we could join, we could use a left outer join to do a lookup, which is a traditional way of doing it.
So, Sudhir, so if the template table which we create, if I don't have that option checked, like recreate and drop and recreate every time,
But still,
I can use that as a permanent table, right?
No, but still it's a definition of a template table, right? So the template table will be sitting under your data store template tables.
Okay.
So it becomes a permanent table when it comes to the table list, not into the template table list. So the data services cannot understand even if we uncheck that option.
So yeah. So let's say
Z2 is a temporary table, right? Let me create this some other temporary table otherwise. So if a temporary table is
One more question. Can we create indexes on temp table?
the indexes will already be created. If you select any of the primary key, the index will be created. And you could, if you want to create a separate indexes, like say a city, you want to create an index on the city or a customer ID if you don't have any.
Okay.
Then you could leverage these pre and post load commands.
Okay, what if you want to?
Command, but you could leverage post load commands on that.
So what if I want to take out the indexes at the time of loading and again putting the indexes after completion of the load? Can I do that on the same table?
Use the same thing, pre and post load commands. That was a good question. And most of the times what we do in data warehouse is we when we try to load big data, so we take out the indexes. We disable the indexes, or in some cases, some people drop the indexes. So here we have an option called preload. If we want to perform such operations, or before executing the data flow, before loading the data onto the table, then you can write your drop or disable indexes statements in here. And after the load is complete, then the post load will be kicked off. So if you have any commands, let's say, in the preload commands, what I would do, select this one. I'll say something like delete from some STG table. So this will get automatically executed before the data loads. That's what it does.
Okay, so then let's concentrate. What are the disadvantages of temp table?
Disadvantages of temp table. See, there are no disadvantages as such, because this is one of the best feature in data services. But there are limitations, as I said. If you create a template table, you cannot use that in lookup functions. Okay. Or you cannot use that in a temporary table comparison transformation.
Hey, I'm sorry.
Once you create a temporary table as a target table as a temporary table, next onwards you could use as many times as a source, but not as a target.
Oh, okay, that's the one limitation. Okay, and the second one we can
limitation. These are the two main limitations.
Okay, got it. There are two, man. One is like we cannot do a lookup, and second is we cannot make a target.
We cannot make as a target multiple times.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Welcome.
Hey,
any other questions?
Yeah, actually, I think we are derailing a bit. I think the original question was from Arvind on. Arvind, can you rephrase your question? I think you were trying to explain that and we got derailed. So could you take one question at a time?
Yeah. What was the question? Sorry if I missed it.
Sorry, Sudhir, I forgot my question.
So I think we were discussing on the use of temp table, and if temp table is turned into a permanent table, I think his question was, in the template tables, there is an option of drop and recreate. What if we uncheck that?
That's what I said, right? Even if it unchecked, the table defined as a template table, it cannot become a permanent table. That option is just disabled or enabled. The definition of the table is temporary table.
So, this is my next question on the temp table, okay?
Right.
So now you are creating a job in the data service designer, okay?
Right.
And then you schedule that job, right? Let's say you schedule the job, okay?
Right.
And the job is going to run and it is going to load the temporary table, okay?
Right.
So should I log into data designer? I mean, where should I go and see the data that has loaded into the staging table? Should I come to the data service designer?
Yeah, you can verify that in the database itself. See, whichever database that you're pointing while you're creating this table. I pointed to data staging. So click on the data stage here. Which database that has pointed to, which particular instance that has pointed to. It has pointed to something like a DS staging under ORCL database. So you can go and look at it, what the DS staging has it. So you could pretty much see the same name there. I have created
even though it's
temp table.
Sorry. So even though it is a temp table, we can log in into the DB and we can look into the data that has been loaded, correct?
Yes, we can. See, the table will be physically existed in your database, but data services cannot understand whether it's a permanent table or a temporary table. So data services itself, okay, you defined this as a temporary table, so let me consider this as a temporary table.
Okay.
See, although the entire table will get executed, will be loaded, the data will be loaded in your database. The table will be the physical table will be present, but the definition in the data services is a temporary table. It's just a template table. That's what a data service understands in here. Did I answer your question, or you're still looking for something else?
No, you answered my question. Thanks.
Okay. So you're saying that, should I take off this drop and recreate table? Would it become a permanent table, or can I use this as a this table in a multiple instances? No, you cannot. You could use this as a source because we are just changing or selecting or deselecting the option, but we haven't changed the definition of that particular object. The object definition is still as a template table.
So let me. If you are getting data from multiple sources, okay.
Right.
Tell us, give us a strategy. Like I'm like I want to load everything into one staging table, okay. And then should we make it as a permanent table and then do the transformation from there?
Sorry, come again. I'm lost somewhere here.
So what I'm trying to understand is I'm using the temp tables to load the data, okay?
Right.
From different sources, okay?
Right.
And after that, should we make it as a permanent table to do more transformations on that?
Yeah, you could use it. See, what happens is in general or in real scenarios, most of the times you come up with the DDLs of your stage area and different stage layers areas, right? And then your final data warehouse or data marts. So you would have a ready-made scripts with you, and you would run those scripts and import those tables, most of the cases. But in some cases where you wouldn't know exactly what are the sources that you need to join, how the structure would form to create a table. In that cases, you create a temporary table. But what happens is, just to create a separate table, right? We need to create a DDL script, run the DDL script in a stage area, and then import it into database. This is the 3-step process. If you have number of columns, let's say 500 columns, you can't create a script for all the 500 columns, right? So people are, people like me tend to be very lazy just to create a table, create a script. So if you have that particular columns available, you just drag and drop, create a temporary table, and the table will get executed and take the
Okay.
script and sometimes import it back again. Guys, I'm
Okay.
running low with my UPS. I might go off now in another 2 to 5 minutes. So if you have any questions, let us know. If
Sudhir,
you are not still clear, you can reach me anytime. Okay, you can reach me anytime. I run my own forum, DWH Notes.
I think we lost him.
Yeah, looks like we lost him.
Are we trying to wait for him or?
should we call it a day?
Try to chat.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry guys,
You were wrong.
I hope we lost meeting. Now I'm going to end the meeting. Everyone okay for that?
Okay.
Thank you.
Ending the class.